But I'm cautioning against jumping too far and saying, oh, the chief minister directly was involved in this. She was participating in this.
No, it doesn't have to be the chief minister.
I have very serious reservations.
No, it doesn't have to be the chief minister.
That could also be the case in some cases.
No, I tell you today, Nirmala, I'm sorry to butt in, but the point is, Bitti was granted 15 days parole. Kavita, correct me if I'm wrong. On November 20th, 2006, it was only after a month after his parole expired that the police filed a case about his disappearance. Yeah. Now, the police has to be completely like blind or wanting to be blind. No, my question is different. My question is
disputing. No, just a minute. I'm not trying to argue on those facts, but what I'm trying to tell you is those are the facts on which we have to establish where the accountability lies. And rightly, in January when you showed the program where you said 7 years and you're just not able to find where this boy is. It is right that the media should put the pressure, and rightly you did it in January, and luckily we hear now that he's been already, found in Kannur.
No.
But
my question is
questions which are very important.
No, why do you need
why do you need the media? The taxes are going for the salary of the bureaucrats and the government servants. Why should media do this work? That means there's a failure of the institutions.
I agree, ma'am.
Let us send these bureaucrats and police officers home. Why do we need them? Why no action was taken on the people when this boy jumped parole? Were there any dismissals? Let us dismiss these people who have been found guilty of this, helping him. Let them charge them. Let us charge them under criminal conspiracy, under abetment. Why don't we put them behind bars?
Let her reply.
Arnav, let me point if you will just permit me without being interrupted for a minute. Abha and Kavita are right in saying what they have said, and all of us are in agreement. I'm only pointing out that at various levels, from top to bottom, there is so many, there are so many stages on which accountability doesn't prevail. I agree with that. But only I'm cautioning, and I brought in the media's relevance here because I remember your show in January talking about Bitti Mohanty. I'm not trying to shift the responsibility onto the media. You have your role to play, and I found this time, coincidentally, your role came in timely, and in Kannur somebody has been alerted, probably an NGO or somebody alerted, and therefore we were able to find him. But the argument here is we have to highlight all these areas.
I certainly don't want to. It's not about taking credit. Very simply put, Jay, I'm just coming to you. I have a simple question. There is a government. Now, if it's a BJP, BJD, Congress, I don't care. In this case, it was a BJP government. The BJP government, did it take any action against the police, Kavita, you can tell me, for the delay in filing a case which eventually helped Bitti Mohanty? Can you tell Nirmala Sitharaman if they took any action?
No, there was no action against any police personnel, neither at the Thana, where he was supposed to report every 2 days. A copy of the parole order goes to that particular Thana, because they are supposed to see that he comes. Neither was he reporting there, neither was, so no action was taken at the Thana level, no action at the SP level, no action at all, right up to the top. The illegal parole order was also not questioned. No internal inquiry. To date, neither Vasundhara Raje government set up a one-person committee of Ashok Gehlot, now that he is found, set up a one-person, two-person, ex-judge committee. I mean, those kind of tokenism were also not done. I mean, you can see how blatant it was that, well, the girl is not there, she's gone off, so why bother and let the man go, get on, move on with the life. This is a case from active collusion to turning a blind eye. It's that kind of a case. That's the journey of 7 years. And we are so glad that he's been found. Now,
Bibi Mohanty took steps for surety, which was absolutely wrong. He was not the fit person to be a surety for the parole. So that itself was illegal because the laws say that a person for surety, Bibi Mohanty stood the surety, which itself was wrong.
1 minute. Abha, you're wrong.
Allow me to say one line.
The surety was somebody else.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering today, Jay Panda. One small point, Jay Panda. I'm just wondering. I remember the Supreme Court criticizing the Orissa police for not cooperating with the Rajasthan police to help arrest Bibi Mohanty. Aren't you also wondering, Jay, that for an Aam Aadmi, if an Aam Aadmi were to allegedly play a role in the collusion to let his son escape, change identity after a heinous crime of rape. Tell me, Jay Panda, would the system work over time? Firstly, he wouldn't have the clout to do that. And most importantly, the system would have taken any such person, put them in lockup and made them squeal the truth. They did not make Bibi Mohanty squeal the truth. In this case, they revoked his suspension.
Arnab, I'm not familiar with the Supreme Court order that you are citing, but I think you must be aware that in recent years in Odisha, several police officers have been sacked, not suspended. And not only police officers, even IAS officers have been sacked for crimes of this kind or collusion. So it's not fair to say that the Odisha government is party to this, or as the lady was saying, that it does not take action against officers. But you must understand that you cannot take actions whimsically. You cannot take actions even when there is prima facie evidence. The prima facie evidence must be backed up with an investigation which shows concrete evidence. And unfortunately, the concrete evidence has never been proven.
Who was following up on this investigation? No, once Jay Panda, can I ask you?
No effort was made. No effort was made.
Arnab, you must allow me to intervene here.
How do you know no effort was made?
Joint investigation
How do you know? You weren't
should
there.
have been set up by Rajasthan and Orissa. You know, I mean, that kind of joint SIT.
No, but Arnab, you must allow me to come in here.
Jay Panda, isn't it a fact if your government, can I ask you, what pressure did your government put on the police officers? No effort was made because in January this year, Times Now put out a story in which senior police officials are on record talking about how they saw Bibi Mohanty. You should have woken up then. You should have started an investigation if you were serious. This was happening after the Nirbhaya case.
If somebody makes an announcement on television that they've seen somebody, that doesn't constitute proof. You actually have to locate the person.
So what
unless that happens,
independently, what was being done to locate the person?
You can't whimsically go around arresting people even if they are police officers.
No. Independently, what was done to...
But if you look at the track record of the Odisha government, police officers have indeed been suspended, have been arrested, have been sacked.
Have you actually...
You have to establish that with the proper corroboration
at any point of time, this was a classic example for you to teach all police officers who think they can get away with the system. You could have cracked the whip and told you this was your opportunity. You lost the opportunity. And I'm sure, Jay, heart of heart, even you recognize that you lost the opportunity to teach a lesson to someone and say you cannot get away by raping a woman. You may be a DGP's son.
The point is other police officers have been sacked for similar crimes. In this case, the man...
I'm talking about this case.
And if you cannot prove the prima facie evidence as concrete evidence, you cannot take that action, or not.
But you've not.
You can be judge, jury, and hangman on this show.
Evidence had to be inquired. The investigation had to be done. Why was the DG's phone not put on surveillance? There is so much technology. This boy was always in touch. He needed so many papers. He needed forged mark sheets, forged driving license. And if the DG's phone had been put on surveillance, we would like to know whether Odisha government had put the DG's phone on surveillance. Had they done it, I am sure everything would have been crystal clear. And if the police, when the Times Now campaign started after Nirbhaya's rape, why was a new inquiry not started again from scratch? Why were we waiting that only when he'll be caught we would start now inquiring into it?
Nirmala Sitharaman, please. Yes, Nirmala.
Arnab, can I just make a quick interjection?
You must allow me to make 3 quick
After
points.
Nirmala, please.
Can I make a quick interjection?
Too much of BJP from everybody.
Yes.
And I think I am therefore duty bound to speak for my party. You will please allow me this.
Do.
During Vasundhara's time, it was the prosecution which went about doing a fair and a very decent job, and that's as a result of which Bitti Mohanty was convicted. Let us grant that first of all. Second, if at all you think, during the last 2 years of Vasundhara, she didn't allow enough detailed investigation as to how he jumped the parole. Let me ask, 5 years are nearly completed by Ashok Gehlot. Why isn't there so much of activism to point a finger at failure of the Congress? It seems more of a sensationalized Vasundhara's
certainly
rather than talk about 5 years.
Very good question. Very good question. But let's answer for the BJP now. Let's answer for the BJP.
Just hold on. I've been hearing too many people about Vasundhara. Third, what about the Kerala government? What about the Kerala government where this imposter was going on there? Is that a Congress government?
Kavita, reply please.
Please, ma'am, let me, I've been hearing both of you all. You must hear this third point. In Kerala, if this imposter has been there, is it because there is a Congress government we allow them that they didn't notice this fellow's presence?
System has failed.
I'm therefore constrained to ask, Is this trying to be, in the name of Bitti Mohanty, hit at BJP, hit at
certainly.
Vasundhara
Come on.
Raje? I'm sorry.
One second.
Let us ask questions of all other governments which have been
Okay,
involved.
Kavita will respond to you. A charge being put here by Nirmala Sitharaman. Now, Nirmala, you make a charge that it's all being made political. Let me tell you one thing, that it's not political. I just want to make one point.
We are trying to talk about various levels.
No, one point. The point is that both in Rajasthan and in Orissa, perhaps it is possible that a cartel of influential police officers were working together, maybe in the absence of knowledge of the politicians, to collude to help this DGP's son. But the point is this, these police officers are answer to the chief ministers. Why did the chief ministers not think this is an important enough subject to pick it up independently on their own and teach these police officers a lesson? Kavita is responding to Nirmala Sitharaman. Kavita, please.
Yeah. See, I think the accountability of the Vasundhara Raje government has to be asked again and again. Not one Thanedar, right up to the DG, no questioning. The parole deed, that also was from a DG office, no questioning. For 2 years, that government remained. Not a person suspended. Bitti Mohanty's father was suspended for a few days in Orissa. Here, nothing. And I think that's very serious. And of course, Vasundhara Raje government has to answer it. And we are saying it. I said it twice earlier in the show. I said even the Ashok government has not even shown a tokenism.
I say it on record.
Shown the tokenism.
I say it on record.
Inquiry.
Nirmala, in case it makes the point, I say it on record loudly on Newshour tonight. The Ashok Gehlot Congress government, all governments, both LDF and UDF governments in Kerala in the interim, as well as the previous governments, have to take responsibility here. Jay, just one very quick point. Well, see, Jay, this now, post Nirbhaya, this story is not about Bitti Mohanty, I'm sure you appreciate. It's about, can a powerful man's son rape someone and just walk away? There's a symbolism to this whole story.
Arnab, you're quite right. There is every possibility that there may have been collusion among certain senior officials cutting across state lines. And your other panelist, Kavita Srivastav, has some valid points about the systemic problems in terms of issuing parole and following up on that. But you must acknowledge that it is not just police officers' sons that get out of the system by using their connections. Other ordinary criminals pull strings and manage similar things on their own without having been related to police officers. But where I think we are being unfair is you can't make sweeping statements. At the one point she makes a statement that the state government did not tap the phone of the DG. And then later on she says asks a question whether he was tapped. You can't make such sweeping statements. One statement is that has the government taken any action against police officers? In several cases, as I said, police officers have been sacked. And here the man was suspended for 8 months, he was investigated. And if you cannot come up with hard evidence, you cannot take whimsical decisions based on Arnab Goswami's announcements on television.
Well, I don't know, but I will still put it, though you give me too much importance, Jay. But I would say one thing repeatedly, this is not the first case in which Times Now has put fresh facts in the case. I'm not hyping this, I'm not making it political, I'm not blaming BJP or BJD alone, but I'm legitimately saying when we exposed fresh facts post Nirbhaya on Bitti this year, because we felt hurt that in India today for 7 years a rapist is gone scot-free, why did the police still do nothing? Kavita wants to respond to you. Yeah. Kavita, we called him a VVIP rapist. Our viewers responded. Kavita, very briefly, please. Very briefly, then I wrap up.
I think this whole thing the Justice Verma committee report brought out, making accountable the command responsibility. I really think we need to bring that in. That for every act of failure of a lower official, the higher official has to take responsibility. And that's with criminal penalties as well as disciplinary proceedings. And that is a political decision. That is why we are saying there's political collusion. If you have to take on senior officials, you want to fix responsibility. That comes only through political leadership. We can only see it through political leadership. And that is why the various governments have to take responsibilities. The chief ministers have to take responsibility.
I just want one point. Is it possible that nobody knew this man? This can't be a whodunit. Is it possible that only Bitti Mohanty knew who Bitti Mohanty was? Is one man capable of evading hundreds of thousands of policemen? As I put this picture out, that is food for thought. Nobody. certainly not a rapist, can be allowed to get away with the system. And this is not political. I thank Nirmala and Jay for their candid participation. I think eventually we are all on one page. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining.